We're slowly but surely reaching the end of the summer season starting. I know reaching the end of the beginning is a whiles away from the beginning of the end, but it means I've probably got less work to do watching the anime which I don't really want to watch. And on that note, the anime I do want to watch won't be airing for another week or so the next guide will be quite a bit later than this one, but I will be releasing one more episode this season. So join me then to watch that, and join me to look at the 4 new shows which I'm watching today, and let you know what I think of them. Let me know what you think of them in the comments as well. And join me, because this is a 2022 summer anime preview from a different perspective. First up today, we have Shine On Bakamatsu Bad Boys, a anime set in samurai Japan where the Shinsengumi have been wiped out by a band of random masked assassins, leaving only one guy left to keep the Shinsengumi game going. That guy being Heisuke Todo, who proceeds to hire a bunch of criminals to act as replacements of all the other famous Shinsengumi. This is a very wild and action-packed anime, and the first episode is very much throwing all the characters in our faces, or throwing all their faces in our faces. The stereotypes are huge there. You've got the perverted monk, you've got the murderous assassin, you've got the big fat guy whose only joke is he's fat and he eats. You got the cross-dressing woman playing samurai, Okita Soji. You got to have an Okita in there somewhere, don't you? And to be fair, at least I have made Okita a cute one. And you got Ichiban Boshi, who is our main character with red head and ginormous quiff. It's very much shonen style action, just in Shinsengumi samurai form. There's not much meat to this package so far. There's a storyline, a plot, but it's as generic as you'd like. The masked guy's killed our main guy's family, he wants revenge. The masked guy's killed with Shinsengumi, they want revenge. Where this one goes, I've no idea, but it's not what I'm going to be sticking around to watch more of. It's as generic as you like. The character designs are very much shonen orientated. It's very much a shonen show. And it's definitely a show which is not meant for me. If you like big, loud action, this is one for you. You can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. Next up, we've got an isekai anime, where a guy gets transported to another world and ends up fighting monsters using slimes. No, this isn't the same anime which looked at a previous episode. This is a different one with the same plot. Welcome to the world of Black Summoner. A guy who, as I say, is transported to another world without his memories. But that's because he sold his memories as a way of getting more powers when he got transported to another world. And he also invokes the Kazuya clause to get the goddess to join him as well, although, as a level 1 summoner, he doesn't yet have a magic power to summon her. So we've just got Melfina the goddess following around as a floating menu, whereas Kelvin, our main guy, ends up befriending and enslaving a slime. I say enslaving because in this world, in order to summon something, you need to first of all become its master, and they need to agree to join you as your servant. And he beats the slime up, the slime agrees to join him, and another of his powers, all his summoned creatures get huge stat boosts. He really is the most powerful summoner in the world. Now what he's going to do with that power, we're not really told. There's no real defeat the evil bad guy in this anime so far. There probably will be, but it's not one which really appeals to me hugely. Don't get me wrong, I like a good isekai show, but overpowered isekai, transported to another world but choosing your powers to be as powerful as they can, is an overused trope which I've heard one too many times. To this one's benefit, it do it better than the last show of its type. And at present, there is a thankful lack of perversion in this one. But with elf slaves caged in front of him, that can only last so far. I don't really need to talk much about this one. It's about a guy who summons creatures. Apparently it's called a Black Summoner, so is he going to turn evil or dark? Who knows? All I know is that he'll probably be summoning an elf girl, and there look to be some demon girl as well, with the credits at the end of the episode. So if you like cute looking generic isekai girls, this may be one to watch. Not one for everyone. If you did want to watch Black Summoner, you can find it also on Crunchyroll. Next up, we've got what looks to be a sports and idol show combined. Welcome to the world of Extreme Hearts, an anime by the Studio 7 Arcs, the studio behind some fantastic shows like Nanoha. And you really can tell that looking at it because the main character has very similar design to Hayate from League of Nanoha, a design which I'm very much pleased by. You see, our main character, Hiyori, is an up-and-coming singer. She releases singles every so often, she releases CDs with music on. She's got a small following, but when I say small following, it's very small. It's not big enough to really sustain herself as an artist. Her fans like her, although there's not many of them, and she's cheerful and is a good musician, but she doesn't really have a future because she doesn't have that staying power, the draw that other artists have. And so one thing leads to another, and she ends up, for some reason, entering an extreme sports competition, hypersports. I think it's to do with a combined hypersports with idols, and in the same way that in Uma Musume, after winning a race, the winning riders get to sing on stage. I'm imagining in Extreme Hearts, if you win the tournaments, you get to become an idol. And it's going to be Hiyori's path to stardom through sports. And so this is going to combine two things which I half like. It depends on what mood I'm in. An idol show with a sports anime. Now we don't get to see too much of a sports, so it has a bit of a match towards the end, and it is very much stereotypical sports anime type fare. But what makes Extreme Hearts interesting with sports is it's not just a sport. It's sports. It's hyper sports. You got basketball, you got baseball, you got football, you've got running, you got loads of stuff. I have no idea exactly how many sports it's going to be, but it's watching future sports animated this well. It's going to be interesting. The music too. He always got a fantastic voice, and I'm sure we're going to meet some other characters who are good singers as well. Everything is drawing me to like this anime a lot, and I'll be honest, it's sort of won me over. Extreme Hearts is not going to be a show for anyone, and it's very much a niche within a niche. For fans of sports animes, do you like sports animes? What about idol shows? If you don't, maybe give this one a miss. If you're an idol fan, if you've got no love for sports, again, you might want to think twice about this one. But for me, with a understanding of both, I will happily watch this. It's going to be about girls bonding over sports and music, and that's the type of show I do want to watch. And when I looked at the preview lists of all the anime airing this season, Extreme Hearts is one which jumped out at me as having a very appealing image advertising it. And having watched the anime episode, the anime fulfills that promise it gave me, to be an appealing looking anime with interesting looking characters playing sports and singing. It gave me that as an advertisement, and it's given me that as an episode. And if you are interested in watching Extreme Hearts, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. And finally today, we have Parallel World Pharmacy, an anime where a guy gets transported to another world and becomes a pharmacist. Or becomes a son of a noble family at least, who is learning medicine. But of course, because he's got no memory of this world, he can't exactly do that, despite being a pharmacist in our world and knowing all the chemicals involved and ways of making medicines. This is going to be a world-building isekai show, I'm sure. Because this one is not setting up to defeat some evil bad guy, it's setting up for curing illness. I mean, the real world is obsessed with medicine because his sister died of cancer, and clearly has been trying to cure cancer, which, noble efforts, but interesting thing to go for the anime. As our main character is reincarnated as Thalma de Michelis, a young kid destined to become a medicine practitioner in this other world. He's helped by his friend or maid, Charlotte, and he's always being tested by his father in how medicine works in this world. Of course, with no memory of this world, he's not going to make clear exactly what's been going on in it. One thing which he does learn is he's been gifted with a super powerful body. His body was struck by lightning before he got resurrected into this body, and he's been given superpowers to control divine arts to a much more degree than he normally would do. He's got the ability to create and destroy any compound he can think of. Of course, we can't imagine a compound, it won't really work. But he can make just whatever he wants to appear as long as he can understand it, so big balls of iron. But he can't make some super high-tech alloy which he can't remember a compound for. But of course he's not going to use those powers for warfare or for making the benefit of his own life. He's going to be using his power for good of other people. He's become, if the title of the anime is anything to go by, is going to become a pharmacist in another world. In a parallel world, apparently. Now, the isekai genre has been going through a lot of twists and turns. Every season we get at least half a dozen shows, which are all isekai. One or two is interesting. This one is on the border. It's not a overpowered combat fighting isekai, but it is overpowered isekai, and your mileage may vary. I'm probably going to give this one another episode or two. It will probably be a pass for me, but I will give it a chance. And if you want to watch this anime, you can find it airing over at Crunchyroll. That was Shinon Bakamatsu Bad Boys, Black Summoner, Extreme Hearts, and Parallel World Pharmacy. A ragtag bunch of episodes which had mixed reviews. What did you think of them? Let me know in the comments, and join me next time I look at 4 more new shows, the final 4 of the season. So until then, bye bye.